If you wake up and something feels off, your energy is low, your body feels cold in places it never used to, and your manhood seems distant or unresponsive, it's easy to blame it on getting older. But what if I told you the problem might not be age at all? It might be your breakfast. That's right, the same breakfast you've had for years, maybe toast, cereal, or something that seems light, could be slowly restricting the very blood flow that powers your strength, your confidence, and your intimacy. And the worst part? Most men don't even know it's happening. Over the last 27 years, I've worked with thousands of men and women over 60. I've seen patterns most doctors overlook, and one truth keeps rising to the surface. The way you start your morning has a direct, powerful effect on the health of your blood vessels and on how alive you feel where it matters most. Let me tell you what I've seen. One man I worked with, Mark, 66 years old, came into my office frustrated. He wasn't sick, not really, but he told me, "I just don't feel like myself anymore, especially in the mornings." His energy was flat, his legs felt heavy, and that warm, familiar sense of morning vitality? Gone. He chalked it up to aging, maybe even low testosterone. But when we looked deeper, something else became clear. It wasn't his hormones, it was his circulation. And the culprit? His breakfast. He started every day the same way: black coffee, white toast, and sometimes a store-bought muffin if he was feeling indulgent. Harmless, right? Actually, no, because what you eat in the first hour after waking determines how your blood vessels behave for the rest of the day. When your body is fresh from fasting overnight, it's incredibly sensitive to what you feed it. And if that food spikes your blood sugar, inflames your arteries, or strips away the molecules responsible for blood flow, your body pays the price immediately. That's exactly what was happening to Mark, and it's happening to millions of older adults every single morning without them realizing it. But here's the good news. Your body wants to heal. It just needs the right fuel. There's one food, simple, affordable, often overlooked, that can radically improve blood flow to the pelvic area when eaten in the morning. It's not a gimmick, it's not exotic, and it's backed by real science. In fact, when this one green food is paired with 4 other natural powerhouses, the effects can feel almost immediate. This is what I call the morning breakthrough. And before we go any further, I want to ask you something. If what you're hearing right now makes you stop and think, even a little, go ahead and click like. Not because it helps me, but because it helps more men and women over 60 find this message. There are thousands silently struggling with circulation, energy, and confidence, and they don't know where to turn. You might be the reason they finally get the help they need. All right, back to what really matters, your body. Let me be clear, weak erections, cold mornings, or fading energy aren't just part of getting older. More often than not, they're the result of one thing: reduced blood flow. And that starts in your arteries, especially the small, delicate ones leading to your pelvis. After 60, your body naturally produces less nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for relaxing and widening your blood vessels. Without enough of it, blood can't flow properly. That leads to stiffness, not in the way you want, but in your arteries. And when blood doesn't move, energy dies out, sensitivity fades, and intimacy begins to feel like a memory. But here's the real breakthrough. Nitric oxide is something you can support naturally, and your morning meal is the best place to start. I'll never forget another patient, James, 71, who hadn't felt a full natural erection in over a year. His testosterone was normal. His heart was in decent shape, but something wasn't right. We changed one thing: his breakfast. Out went the sugary cereal. In came circulation-supportive foods. Within 2 weeks, he was calling me saying, "It's not perfect, but I'm waking up feeling like myself again." This is what I want for you. I'm not talking about chasing youth or trying to feel 25 again. I'm talking about restoring the flow of life, blood, energy, warmth, into the areas that matter most. And the first step? A humble green food that nearly every man walks past at the grocery store. It's spinach, not the kind from a can, not the soggy side dish no one touches. I'm talking about fresh, vibrant spinach, blended into a smoothie, sautéed lightly with olive oil, or added to eggs. Why? Because spinach is packed with natural nitrates. Your body takes those nitrates and transforms them into nitric oxide. And that one molecule, when present in the morning, can change everything. Spinach opens blood vessels. It softens stiff arteries. It drives oxygen-rich blood down to the pelvis, where energy and intimacy begin. It's not magic, it's biology. I had a man, George, 68, who was convinced nothing would help. I asked him to try just 2 handfuls of fresh spinach with breakfast every day for 3 weeks. That's it. No medication, no supplements, just food. When he returned, he smiled and said, "There's a warmth again. I'd forgotten what that felt like." That's the power of circulation. When your blood moves, everything improves. Your energy, your recovery, even your desire. But spinach doesn't work in isolation. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. You see, most people think blood flow issues are only about the heart or the arteries. But over the years, I've come to understand something many overlook. Your gut has a direct line to your circulation. That's not a metaphor. It's biology. When your gut is out of balance, when the healthy bacteria are disrupted, or your digestion is inflamed, it sends distress signals throughout your body. Those signals tighten your blood vessels, suppress nitric oxide production, and silently choke off the very circulation you're trying to restore, especially in the most sensitive, performance-dependent areas of your body. That's why the second key to your morning breakthrough is pairing spinach with something that heals the gut and sets the stage for better blood flow all day long. It's Greek yogurt, but not just any yogurt. I'm talking about the kind that's thick, unsweetened, and full of live cultures. Greek yogurt is one of the most efficient natural sources of probiotics, good bacteria that calm inflammation, balance digestion, and help your body process the nutrients it needs to make nitric oxide in the first place. I remember working with a man named Douglas. He was 72 and told me, "I've tried the leafy greens, I've tried the walks, nothing sticks." But when we looked at his symptoms, low energy, cold feet, weak digestion, it all pointed to the gut. He had no idea that his constant bloating and irregularity were sabotaging his circulation. I asked him to do one simple thing: add 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt to his breakfast each morning, along with a handful of berries. Blueberries or raspberries were his favorites. That's all. Within a week, he noticed a difference in how his mornings felt. He said, "I don't feel like I'm dragging through the first few hours anymore. I've got a little more lift in my step. Even my mood feels lighter." That's the power of synergy, because berries, especially dark, colorful ones, bring another layer of support. They're rich in compounds called anthocyanins and flavonoids, which help keep your blood vessels flexible and protect nitric oxide from breaking down too quickly. And they taste good too. Not only do they complement the yogurt's probiotics, they reinforce circulation where aging often hits hardest: the legs, the pelvis, and yes, the penis. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, "That's me, that heavy-legged, low-drive, tired in the morning feeling, that's exactly what I've been living with," then take a second right now and subscribe to the channel. We're building something here, a place where men and women over 60 can finally hear the truth about how to feel alive again. No gimmicks, no shame, just real advice that works. So subscribe, hit the bell, and join a growing movement of older adults who are ready to reclaim their health, one step at a time. Let's keep going. When you combine spinach with Greek yogurt and berries, you're not just eating healthy, you're activating a process. You're restoring nitric oxide production while calming the inflammation that's been suffocating your blood flow for years. But what if I told you there's another food, smooth, green, and creamy, that makes all of this work even better? One that directly improves how your arteries behave, especially in the lower half of your body? I'm talking about avocado. You've probably seen it at the store and thought it was just for younger folks with trendy diets. But for men and women over 60, avocado is an underrated powerhouse. Why? Because it's loaded with monounsaturated fats and potassium, 2 nutrients that work together to keep your blood vessels soft, flexible, and responsive. And that's critical. When arteries stiffen, blood can't reach your pelvic region efficiently. That's when performance drops, energy fades, and morning stiffness becomes a thing of the past. for the wrong reasons. One man, Lawrence, 69, told me he'd never touched an avocado in his life, thought it was green mush. I asked him to try just half an avocado with his breakfast each morning. He sliced it over his eggs. Sometimes he mashed it on rye toast with a sprinkle of lemon and sea salt. 3 weeks later, he looked at me and said, "Doc, I don't know if it's the avocado or the timing, but I feel lighter, like my legs aren't dragging anymore, and mornings are getting more interesting again." That's what I want for you. Not flashy, not complicated, just real, noticeable improvements you can feel. And guess what? We're only getting started. Because when you layer these foods together, spinach for nitric oxide, Greek yogurt, and berries for gut health, avocado for vascular flexibility, you're creating a morning ritual that nourishes your body from multiple angles. But we're not done yet. There's one more food I want to share with you. It might surprise you. It's rich, dark, and yes, it's chocolate. But not just any chocolate. Let me show you why a small piece of this bittersweet treat, when chosen carefully, can be a game changer for blood flow, intimacy, and emotional vitality. Most people don't expect a doctor to recommend chocolate for circulation. They think of it as a guilty pleasure, maybe even a little indulgent. But here's the truth. When it's the right kind of chocolate, taken at the right time, it's one of the most effective foods for restoring blood flow and increasing nitric oxide in older adults. Now, I'm not talking about sugary candy bars or milk chocolate packed with additives. I'm talking about real dark chocolate, at least 70% cacao with no fillers, no fluff. A small piece in the morning, just 2 squares, is all it takes. It delivers flavonols, powerful plant compounds that activate nitric oxide pathways, relax blood vessels, and boost circulation right where you need it most. And unlike processed sweets, dark chocolate supports your heart, your brain, and yes, your intimate performance. I worked with a gentleman named Tom, 74. He was active, sharp, but often complained of feeling sluggish in the mornings, as he put it, especially when it came to his lower half. His legs felt like lead, and intimacy had quietly disappeared from his life. We added dark chocolate to his routine. Nothing dramatic, just 2 squares alongside his morning coffee. He laughed at first, said, "Feels like dessert before breakfast." But after 10 days, he stopped laughing and started smiling. "Something's waking up again," he told me, "and I don't mean just my legs." That's the magic of synergy. When you've already added spinach for nitric oxide, Greek yogurt and berries for gut support, and avocado for vascular flexibility, dark chocolate rounds it out. It reinforces circulation, keeps blood vessels open, and protects everything you've built throughout the morning. Now let me say something important here. If you've been watching this and you're thinking, "That sounds like me," maybe you've noticed the coldness, the sluggish mornings, the quiet disappearance of the spark that once made you feel fully alive. I want to tell you something directly. You are not broken, you're not too late, and you are not alone. I've seen this same pattern in thousands of men and women over 60, and I've seen what happens when they finally stop ignoring the signs and start taking simple, natural action. So if you're ready, if something in this message spoke to you, go ahead and share this video with someone else. A friend, a spouse, a brother. You never know who's quietly suffering in silence, waiting for someone to tell them there's still hope. All right, let's finish strong. Because there's one final food in this morning routine that ties it all together. One that's been celebrated for centuries for its vitality-boosting properties. And now, we have the science to prove it. It's a ruby red fruit with roots in ancient cultures, used by warriors and kings. Today, we know it as one of nature's most potent circulation boosters, especially for older adults who feel like their energy has been quietly slipping away. I'm talking about pomegranate. Not the sugary drink blends or flavored snacks, I mean pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice. 4 ounces in the morning is all it takes. Pomegranate is rich in polyphenols, punicolagens, and antioxidants that do 3 things remarkably well. They stimulate nitric oxide production. They protect that nitric oxide from breaking down, and they actively expand blood vessel diameter, especially in areas that tend to constrict with age. I once worked with a retired firefighter named Ron. He was 68, tough as nails, but quietly devastated by how his body had changed. His hands and feet were always cold. His drive was gone, and intimacy felt like something he had to pretend he didn't miss. He told me, "I'm not looking for miracles, Doc. I just want to feel like I'm still in there somewhere." I recommended he try 4 ounces of pure pomegranate juice every morning, paired with spinach in his existing breakfast. He was skeptical, but willing. When he came back 4 weeks later, his entire posture had changed. He looked brighter, moved with more purpose. His words stuck with me. "I feel warm again, in places I didn't realize had gone cold." That's what this food can do, not just physically, but emotionally. It restores a sense of presence, a sense of connection. It reminds you that your body still wants to show up for you. You just have to meet it halfway. And when you combine pomegranate juice with the other 4 foods, spinach, Greek yogurt with berries, avocado, and dark chocolate, you're not just eating breakfast anymore. You're building momentum. You're creating a ritual that speaks to your arteries, your energy, and your identity. One that tells your body, "I haven't given up on you yet." But there's one last piece I need to share. The transformation this routine creates isn't just biological, it's emotional. And what happens after a few days or weeks of following this path can be bigger than you expect. Here's what I've learned after nearly 3 decades of working with older adults. The moment you feel like your best years are behind you, that's exactly when your body is asking for your attention. Not because it's failing, but because it's waiting. Waiting for you to remember that food is medicine, that blood flow is life, and that the spark you thought had vanished isn't gone. It's just been starved. You see, this isn't about one food or one magical fix. It's about consistency, simplicity. It's about what happens when you show up for your body every single morning with the intention to heal instead of just survive. Let's recap what that looks like. You start with spinach, nature's nitric oxide generator. It opens your blood vessels and delivers life-giving oxygen right where you need it most. Then you bring in Greek yogurt with berries, fuel for your gut, protection for your circulation, and a signal to your immune system to calm down and support the process. Avocado keeps your arteries soft, supple, and responsive, helping every other nutrient move more freely through your body. Dark chocolate, rich in flavonols, gives you a clean, powerful push of nitric oxide and helps your blood vessels perform like they used to. And finally, pomegranate juice, a royal fruit that restores warmth, widens your vessels, and energizes the parts of you that may have felt neglected for too long. These 5 foods aren't complicated. They aren't expensive. They're powerful because they're natural, because they work with your biology, not against it. And more than anything, they give you back a sense of momentum. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s, wake up feeling more like themselves again. Not perfect, not 25 again, but present, warm, capable, reconnected to their bodies and to their partners. And that, to me, is the real transformation. Because vitality isn't just about muscles or hormones. It's about the quiet dignity of feeling your blood move again. The simple confidence of knowing your body can still rise to the occasion. The calm joy of walking through your day without dragging your legs or hiding your discomfort. So here's my challenge to you. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Start with just one food tomorrow. Add a second the next day. Build from there. You don't need a new prescription. You don't need to be anyone else. You just need a new rhythm, a morning ritual that restores, fuels, and reminds you that your story is still being written. And if any part of this message spoke to you, if something stirred inside that said, "Yes, I want that," then take that feeling and do something with it. Like this video so more people can discover what their doctors may have never told them. Leave a comment below and let me know. Which of these 5 foods will you try first? Or, if you've already started, what have you noticed? Your story might be the one that gives another man or woman the push they need to start their own path back to vitality. And if you'd like to help us reach more people with this kind of honest, practical, life-changing advice, consider supporting the channel with a small donation. Every contribution helps us keep going, so more men and women over 60 can go from just getting by to truly living again. And of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to Life After 60. We're building a community here, one that believes aging isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new, wiser, stronger chapter. Because no matter your age, you deserve to feel alive. You deserve warmth, energy, and connection. And you deserve to wake up tomorrow knowing you've taken back control, one bite, one breath, and one morning at a time.